I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would the secretary please call the roll?
Anna Braun.
Here.
Timothy Cummings.
Here.
Jamie Falco.
Here.
Louis Figueroa.
Here.
Lori Herrick.
Here.
Lee Woo Hong.
Here.
Lori Lax.
Here.
Wilbur Pan.
Here.
Heather Guas.
Here. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening and welcome. First, we're going to go directly to, The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed and acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the East Brunswick Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted at the Board of Education offices. Written notice was also provided to the Sentinel, the Newark Star Ledger, and the Home News and Tribune, the Alternative Press of East Brunswick, and the Municipal Clerk of East Brunswick. All Board of Education meetings, with the exception of executive session discussions, are videotaped for later broadcast. It is the policy of the Board of Education that videotaped meetings are not edited for any purpose. Individuals who speak at the board's public meeting should be aware of these videotaping rules. We have a need for a closed session. Whereas the Board of Education must discuss matters which are not appropriate for the discussion in a public meeting, and whereas these subjects are within the exceptions to the Open Public Meeting Act and are permitted to be discussed in a closed session pursuant to NJS 10-4-12B, and whereas the Board of Education intends to discuss items listed on tonight's agenda, whereas the length of the closed session is estimated to be 1 hour, after which the public meeting of the board shall reconvene and action will be taken. Can I have a motion? Wilbur, and second by Lori. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? We are enclosed. We will be back in 1 hour. There we go. Welcome back again. We apologize for the extra few moments it took us. Sometimes we just can't move faster when we need to. All right, we would like to begin, and it is so nice to see you all here. This is my favorite part of these meetings. We'd like to begin with the superintendent's report. Dr. Valesi?
Thank you, President Guas. Good evening, everyone. It's great to see you here, and I promise I'm going to be as quick as I can possibly be because you guys have some very important things to do. So good evening. The artwork on display in the boardroom this evening was created by students from Bound Monroe Elementary School. The art teacher of these talented students is Teokera Naimichi, and Kristen Christina is the principal. We are thrilled to announce that EBHS senior Allison Lee has been named one of the 40 finalists in the 84th Regeneron Science Talent Search, the nation's oldest and most prestigious pre-collegiate science competition. She was selected from nearly 2,500 applicants nationwide. Allison's achievement is a testament to her dedication, scientific rigor, and potential of groundbreaking research. As a finalist, Allison will travel to Washington, D.C. to compete for the top prize of, and you're going to be amazed, $250,000. She will present her original research to the public and connect with leading scientists and innovators. And we are incredibly proud of Allison to represent our district, and we certainly wish her the best of luck. Congratulations once again to our high school We the People team. Their outstanding performance at the Rutgers competition has earned them the coveted spot at the National We the People competition in Washington, D.C. They'll be representing the state of New Jersey, and we are incredibly proud of them. On Friday, January 24th, the High School International Club hosted its vibrant annual Bollywood night. Students enjoyed an evening filled with energetic dancing, intricate henna tattoos, creating culture, celebrating culture, and just having fun in a festive atmosphere. The Winter Color Guard kicked off their competition season with a strong performance, showcasing their hard work and talent. Congratulations to the students on a wonderful start to the season. Hammersholt Upper Elementary School has joined thousands of schools to participate in the Great Kindness Challenge. The Great Kindness Challenge is a week-long program from Monday, January 27th through tomorrow, Friday, January 31st, and is dedicated to creating a culture of kindness and compassion in communities worldwide. And so far, they've hosted Spirit Week dress days, daily kindness quotes that were read in the morning announcements by members of the Student Council, and students had the opportunity during their lunch to create cards for someone, as well as write down something kind they have done for someone else. In addition, Hughes Student Council put together a lunch period challenge to recognize students engaged in random acts of kindness. In sports, girls swimming are the Red and GMC champions, and this is their third year in a row winning both. Congratulations to them. Boys wrestling won the Brunswick Brawl versus North, South, and New Brunswick for the third year in a row, so congratulations to them. And in boys basketball, Matt McCulka scored his 1,000th point on Thursday, January 9th, against Sayreville. Congratulations to Matt. Our newly formed dance team made history by performing in their first dance competition on Sunday, January 26th at Hillsborough High School, and we have a small clip of their performance to share with everyone.
Excellent varsity jazz division, East Brunswick High School.
Congratulations to our December and January high school athletes of the month. Students were selected for this honor by their coaching staff based on performance, demonstration of leadership, effort, and practice, and of course for modeling exceptional character. And I'll pause for a moment because we have December and January. On January 13th, I, along with a few board members, attended the Special Education Parent Advisory Group meeting. Attorneys Hinkle, Pryor, and Fisher presented a webinar on navigating New Jersey Children's System of Care, also known as Perform Care. Perform Care offers services not covered by health insurance for children with emotional, behavioral, intellectual, or developmental disabilities. The next CPAG meeting will feature East Brunswick Adaptive Recreation, presented by Caitlin Kehoe, on Wednesday, February 12th at 7 p.m. The meeting will be virtual, and the link will be posted on our website, ebnet.org/CPAG, S-E-P-A-G. East Brunswick residents with children who will be 5 years of age on or before October 31st, 2025, are eligible for the East Brunswick Public School full-day kindergarten program for the 2025-2026 school year. We are accepting registration in two ways, either in person or drop and go. And I don't mean drop your kids and go. In-person registrations will take place on Wednesday, February 5th from 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Friday, February 7th from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. right here at the East Brunswick Public Schools Administration Building. In-person registrations do not require an appointment, and students do not need to attend. For the drop and go, all paperwork can be dropped off right here at the administration building again, and you'll receive an email confirmation when your registration has been processed. Incoming kindergarten students must be registered by Tuesday, May 20th, that's this May 20th, in order to participate in the June kindergarten classroom visit and screening. Please visit our website at ebnet.org for more information, and we are looking forward to welcoming, believe it or not, the class of 2038. Thank you. If that doesn't make you humble,
No, I would appreciate, wasn't your class the first class that had full-day kindergarten? Would you even remember that? I believe you were. I would like to take a moment before we move on to our very happy occasions to take a moment for January 27th, which was Holocaust Memorial Day, marking the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz and Birkenau. It's a solemn anniversary to many of us in this community. It is a solemn anniversary in my family, as my grandparents were survivors, and my grandmother is still with us at 101 from Majdanek. I think taking a moment to reflect is important because we live in such a beautifully diverse community. And this memorial is not just important for families of survivors or families of victims. As I was looking at the Holocaust Memorial website, it discussed things that these atrocities have in common. And they said that all of them begin with discrimination, hate, and creating a sense of otherness. It referred to these dangers, and I think as a parent and an educator and a community member, we need to take the 27th forward into the rest of the year in our community and look for opportunities to bridge these gaps, to fight away the opportunities for otherness, to fight away this discrimination, and to stand up for the beauty that is our diversity. Okay, thank you. Now we are moving on to the Churchill Junior High School Honors Chamber Course. All right, I would like to invite the board members, if we could move around so that we could see them. We usually don't get to see from the front, so this is awesome.
and our Director of Arts, Michelle
I'm
DeGrosso,
sorry.
will introduce.
Please introduce.
Good evening. My name is Michelle DeGrossa. If I haven't met you, I'm the very, very proud supervisor of the Arts Education Department here in East Brunswick. I thought it would be nice tonight to give you a little peek into some of the excellence in our music programs that is going on around the district. We just came off of 3 weeks of chorus concerts, and the Churchill Chorus this year has 260 students enrolled in just grades 7, 8, and 9. Who we have here this evening are members of the Churchill Honors Chamber Choir. And what that means is that these students auditioned to be in this group. So at Churchill, we have 3 auditioned honors groups, one for band, one for orchestra, and one for chorus. And what makes that so special is that you don't see that in a lot of districts. Starting in 7th grade, having a group where students audition and sing, they're basically singing high school level music. And their director, Mrs. Jamie DeSiena, is the reason why we have 260 students, along with her colleagues, other choral colleagues in the district, and why they love singing so much. So they're going to sing 2 pieces for you this evening that they sang at their winter concert. So, as Mrs. Guas said, if now you would go to the back of the room so they can sing to you and not
your mics
in
and
front
make
of
sure
you.
all your mics are turned off.
And chorus students, you can come on up and you can face that way.
Baba, to the 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 Baba. Kukin kanye zizi olelu Baba. Zimkani sela intelezi kaya. Sobesi kona bonke beshoyo. Beti buyela uyele kaya. Tula 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 baba. Tula 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 sana. Tula 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 baba. Tula 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 san. Tula 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 sana. Tulu tula 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 sana. Tulu tula sana. Kuken tula baba. Simkan jisela baba. Sobesi kona kebeshoyo. Beti suyela kaya. Tula 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 baba. Tula 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 sana. Tula 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 baba. Tula 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 san. Tula san. Tula tula baba. Tula sana. Tulu baba zobia ekusani. Tula tula sana. Tula baba. Tula baba. Tula baba. Tula tula sana. Tula tula sana. Tula sana. Tula tula baba. Tula tula sana. Tula tula baba. Tula 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 san. Tula 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 san.
So that was Tula Baba, and it was an African piece in Zulu. And this next one is a traditional spiritual, Yonder Come Guest.
Yonder come day, yonder come day, yonder come day. Sun is arising in my soul. Yonder come day, yonder come day, yonder come day. Sun is arising in my soul. Yonder come day, yonder come day, yonder come day. Sun is arising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is breaking. Sun is arising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is breaking. Sun is arising in my soul. Sun is arising in my soul. It's a brand new day.
Sun is arising.
Brand new day.
Day is a breaking.
Day, day, it's a brand new day. And the sun is arising in my soul. Oh, the sun is arising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is arising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is arising in my soul. Sun is arising in my soul. It's a brand new day.
Sun is arising.
Brand new day.
Day is a breaking.
Day, day, it's a brand new day. And the sun is arising in my soul. Oh, the sun is arising in my soul. Yonder come day, and the day is a breaking.
Yonder come day, and the day is a breaking.
Sun is arising in my soul.
Sun is arising in my soul.
Yonder come day,
Yonder come day,
day is a breaking.
day is a breaking.
Yonder come day,
Yonder come day,
sing, oh my soul.
sing, oh my soul.
Day, day, it's a brand new day, and the sun is arising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is rising in my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Yonder come day, oh my soul. Yonder come day, day is a breaking. Sun is arising in my soul.
Great job.
That was amazing.
Absolutely.
That was absolutely amazing. And I would have thought, had I not been here for the introduction, that I was listening to a high school or older. It was so good, just really so talented. And I said to your teacher while we were standing off to the side that it is beautiful from an educator's point of view to watch students just lean in, like physically leaning in to connect while they're singing. It's just great. All right, we're on to the student representatives report. You have to follow that, Rishi. I don't know how you're doing this tonight, but I bet you can.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to follow that. That was amazing. I didn't want it to end. I wish it just kept going on. But hello, everyone. It's been not too long since we last met, but a lot has happened. Sports competitions, club events, PTSA meetings, and unfortunately, midterms. Let's get the less exciting news out of the way. Today marked the first day of midterms with the first and fourth block taking place. Tomorrow will be the fifth and eighth, followed by the second and third, and concluding with the sixth and seventh block classes. My fellow seniors and I have been buried in our books over the last few weeks, balancing college admissions, studying, and the final stretch of our high school journey. But it is encouraging to see the finish line in sight, with perhaps the last hurdle being midterms. To support students in their academic endeavors, teachers have been offering drop-in tutoring sessions, helping students clarify questions and ease concerns as the semester comes to a close, and many students are looking forward to the new semester with new classes, new faces, and new teachers. Now on to some more exciting news. This past week, the high school's AP Institute for Political and Legal Education traveled to Rutgers, New Brunswick for the annual We the People competition. Students in this course spend the entire year researching, writing, and studying in preparation for the event, which will test their ability to interpret the Constitution, the government, the Supreme Court rulings, and other legal frameworks. Competitors must translate their knowledge into well-crafted speeches that effectively convey their knowledge. Personally, as a student in this course, my group was tasked with exploring free speech rights in schools and universities. We were able to reference frameworks right here in East Brunswick at our school, such as the role I hold as Board of Education representative, and bring that on the day of the competition. All 6 groups delivered compelling speeches and demonstrated strong performances, with our teacher, Mr. Mondry, noting that this year's class was one of the strongest he's seen in the past few years. In the closing ceremony, it was announced that East Brunswick had won the state competition, and we would represent New Jersey at the national competition in April. Winter sports are now in full swing, with swimming, basketball, dance, and many other teams deep into their competitive seasons. The girls' swim team secured their 3rd consecutive GMC championship, winning by a dominant margin of over 100 points ahead of their closest competitor. Junior and 100-meter freestyle specialist Helen Ayub stated, "This team is super strong this year in an impeccable form. We can't wait to see what we accomplish at the state competition in February." The boys' swim team also performed impressively, finishing in 2nd place. Meanwhile, the boys' basketball team faces North Brunswick tonight in what is expected to be the toughest matchup of the season. However, they entered the game with great players and strong momentum. Just 2 weeks ago, junior guard Matt McCulca reached the 1,000-point milestone in his East Brunswick High School career. The girls' dance team began their inaugural season, competing for the first time last weekend, as you saw in the video. That was great to watch, and we wish them the best of luck as they continue their season and their big competition this weekend. The International Club recently hosted its annual Bollywood Night, an evening filled with music, dancing, and various cultural festivities. The night kicked off with the Mango Lassi drinking competition, where students raced back and forth between tables to see who could finish 5 cups first. I have never seen a group of students run so fast in the high school in my entire career, but the night was packed with engaging activities, including a henna station, pizza, and nonstop music. Not only did students gain a greater appreciation for South Asian culture, but they also created unforgettable memories. As 2025 begins, the new year also brings new beginnings for many seniors. Throughout January, many college admissions decisions have been released, and students are beginning to finalize their plans for the future. The Class of 2025 Commit social media page, which you can follow on Instagram, has been flooded with announcements from students committing to their top choice schools, showcasing not only their hard work, but the unwavering support of the counselors and staff at East Brunswick High School. Senior and fellow classmate Aryan Rihanna shared his own high school journey, noting that my counselor at the high school informed me about a competitive and notable political science and economics program at the University of Richmond, which he had no clue about before. He applied in October, got accepted this past week, and is likely to attend in the fall. More students will hear back from colleges in February, March, and April, and decisions will continue to unfold throughout the year. I'd like to wish parents, students, and teachers the best of luck with the remainder of midterms, as well as you guys. Good luck tomorrow, and I look forward to speaking with all of you at the next meeting. Thank you.
Also, I have to applaud your class because the class of 2025 commits has the most adorable baby pictures instead of the regular senior pictures for all of their colleges. It's really great to watch. All right, we are up to, for the good of the cause,
Do you want to let these young people go home and study?
or just let them go home. We're going to have a very brief recess, none of us move, to let you guys go home and study, possibly. All right? Thank you so much for being here, and good luck on your midterms. All right, we will assume that everyone here does not need to study for midterms and is feeling more relaxed. All right, we are now on to for the good of the cause for the public. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and of the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. In order to permit the fair and orderly expression of such comment, the board shall provide a period for public comment at every meeting of the board. Residents are welcome to speak up to 3 minutes. The timing will be kept by the board secretary. I would just like to request when you step up to the podium, you state your name and address, unless you are a student, and then we just need your name. Is there anyone this evening wishing to speak to the board?
Hello, my name is Kelly Trigo, Prigmore Street. With the new administration's executive orders titled Ending Radical Wasteful Government DEI Programs and Preferencing, term I find both offensive and inaccurate, I'm concerned about how this might impact our schools moving forward. The DOE is already taking steps to eliminate DEI programs, such as diversity training and inclusive classroom materials. And I'm curious to understand what that could mean for us, especially given that DEI programs can be interpreted in many different ways. Additionally, I'd really appreciate some insight into how the potential reduction or change in allocations of the Title I funding could impact our students moving forward, including the potential effect of our special education department. Staying informed and coming together at this time is very vital as a community. So I'd like to know how we'd be updated about these impacts and how we can organize as a community to ensure our students continue to receive the necessary support and resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Did you want to say anything? You want to wait till the end? Okay. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to the board tonight?
Allegra Seidler, 12 South Woodland Avenue. It is telling that some members, some here, would choose to spend their time attempting to discredit a community member who came to them hoping for a resolution rather than doing the job board members are elected to do. You don't need to personally agree with my approach. However, the antics displayed in this room on January 16th illustrate why it is the one that I have chosen. Plenty of parents have had these conversations over the phone and behind closed doors, and what good has come of it? None of us are looking for special treatment for solely our children. We want better for all. So yes, I do want everything on the record, not a casual conversation subject only to your misrepresentation. To further correct that record, I did speak with Dr. Valesky in this room on December 5th, and I never declined a meeting. I said I want the answers in writing and then would be happy to meet. And that is in writing. There is no policy against that. There are policies that require communication to be reduced to writing. Such policies are even in place to handle complaints regarding curriculum, as is the case with District Policy 9130. Part of the task you are elected to complete is overseeing the superintendent and enforcing these policies. You are not elected to oversee me or any other community member. You have allowed the better part of 5 school years to pass without the implementation of gifted and talented services for K through 4. There's a district policy for that as well. And there is now public documentation of significant numbers of parents being told such a program did not exist. You cannot possibly make up for the missed opportunities those who would have qualified have been denied. Accountability requires acknowledgement of mistakes and a clear plan to guarantee something like this never occurs again. Accountability is not making unpublicized updates to a web page. It is not sending an email about a portion of these changes months after they began being made, and it is not referring to the initiation of services as enhancements. Accountability is not scrambling to get help only for the students whose parents have spoken at these meetings, parents who have been having informal conversations for years. If you wanted to give a nod to transparency, you would start by enforcing already established policies, by disclosing the cost of the revised units of study curriculum, by asking the questions we have asked before voting yes to approve these purchases, by publicly setting goals and the plans to meet them, by publicly and meaningfully involving parents and teachers in these decisions, not just 8 or so handpicked to pilot one unit of one program in each school. We know East Brunswick is a nationally recognized blue ribbon school district, but we also know that academic excellence is a journey and not a destination. These are our children, these are public funds, and you represent us.
10 seconds.
Our mistake has been deferring to the experts, assuming all of this was taken care of, and now we know it's not. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Seidler. Is there anyone else wishing to address the board?
Good evening, Jennifer Figueroa, 101 Ruse Lane. I attended a very informative meeting the other night at the PTSA meeting at the high school, presented by 2 East Brunswick police officers, and the topic was driver safety and safety awareness in general. During that meeting, I was made aware that there is a program that they have offered in the past called Share the Keys that is offered to the provisional driver's license students. For some reason this year, it was not being shared. Unfortunately, they wanted to share it on Tuesday night, but they said because of the length of the meeting that they couldn't share it. So I'm coming to you tonight to ask why it's not being offered to the drivers for this year, and I'm asking that you could please bring this program back, as driver safety should be an extreme topic for our high school students. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. May I say something?
Sure.
I just wanted to add, the program at the high school was excellent. I was there in person, and it was really valuable. I actually have notes later to thank the police department and the PTSA for arranging it. Was there anything you would like to respond to?
President Goss, if I could just clarify a couple of things. On the DEI, we have not received any direct communication from the Department of Education as of today about any changes to funding that would impact any program we already have in place. If we do, we will communicate that as soon as we get it. But I assure you right now, we don't have any direct communication from DOE on that. Dr. Boley was unable to be at this meeting tonight, but for the February 13th meeting, I've asked her to present on our gifted and talented program, so there's clarification about what we've been doing over the last 5 years, and that includes 2 years of COVID. So I want to bring clarification to that, and I'm not disagreeing with some of the concerns that the community is bringing, but I also believe there's clarification that needs to be done from our side. And share the keys, I completely agree. I do not know why it wasn't done, but we're going to look into it. It is a great program.
Dr. Bouchard was talking to the officers at the end.
Okay.
He was there as well.
I'll find
I'm assuming
out
you were
why,
on the Zoom.
what's going on, but I was there yeah.
In the back?
On Tuesday night?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to do this. We can talk later. All right. And I'm sorry, I need to close the public portion. I sometimes
Wait, you
forget
had
to.
another-
Oh,
there's
I do?
another-
I'm so sorry.
Danielle Vieto, 23 Bradford Road. I just want to reiterate some of the concerns with the current administration's plans. And I know that while maybe nothing has been said yet, I just hope that you guys are proactively thinking about what might be to come and gearing up for that. So I'm sure I speak for a lot of people in the town.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
Michelle Bethy, 5 Watchung Road. I'm just upset that there's this attention for the gifted and talented program that was not in place, and there's no mention of anything about the language arts curriculum. There's no clarification on that. We received an email that there's now universal screening for gifted and talented. Where is that same communication for our students who are struggling with reading? That's what I would like to know.
Thank you, Michelle.
Hello, good evening. My name is Maggie Georges, 34 Garfield Avenue. There's a lot of rumors about Bauman Row, about it closing, and I just want to know if the board can clarify those rumors. I understand this has been discussion for 20 years now, but it seems like there's more, and I hope that just like you would be transparent about anything that you would hear about the DEI programs, they would also be transparent about anything that's happening with Bauman Row. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Maggie. Okay, is there anyone else? All right, that's it. Now, I'm closing the public portion. All right, we are moving on to the agenda. I would like to move the entire agenda. I would like to just restate for the newer board members that that does not preclude any discussion on any items. We're just going to move all the items at once and then open for discussion. All right, so can I get a motion to move tonight's entire agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Loggs, Ms. Herrick? All right, is there any discussion?
Yes, President Gloss. I
Yeah.
have some concerns about some of the language in the Board Member Code of Conduct and Best Practices. I would like to share that with the Board Secretary for distribution to board members for their perusal.
He's passing window. Is that okay?
Take care of that.
All right, I also actually wanted to say on that, I would like to see added on the after section, and I will send it also to the board secretary, that board members will always maintain confidentiality of privileged information and executive session discussions on the last section. Anyone else?
I have one other piece that I'd like to add to that as well. I feel very strongly about incorporating more language, this is again regarding to the board member code of conduct, around the district's support for staff, all staff across the district. I understand wholly that we are driven here and motivated to, see the kids within our district grow and succeed and develop their skills, but the only way that happens is if our team is operating at full capacity and feels fully supported, and that we're fostering a community of wellness for our staff. So I'll submit those to the board secretary as well. I feel very strongly about incorporating that language into this document. Thank you.
Anything else for discussion on these items? All right.
So just a reminder, if there's anything that anyone needs to abstain on, just identify what that item is, please, so I can make the notation for the record. We'll begin with the roll call vote on the agenda. Anna Braun.
Yes.
Timothy Cummings.
Yes, with the exception for an abstention on bylaws or policies and first reading.
Jamie Falco.
Yes, with abstention on number 1, the bylaws and policies.
Luis Figueroa.
Yes, abstention bylaw number 0142.7.
Lori Herrick.
Yes, abstain 1 under Board of Education, bylaws and policies, first reading.
Li Wu Hong.
Yes, but abstaining from the number 1 bylaws and policies.
Lori Lax.
Yes.
Wilbur Pan.
Yes, abstaining on the bylaws.
And Heather Gloss.
Yes.
So just as a notation with regard to the first reading on the bylaws with all the abstentions that we have, that is not moving as a first reading. It'll come back at the next meeting as a first reading with revisions.
Thank you, Board Secretary. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. All right. This takes us to go to the Finance Committee. All right, so now we are moving on to the Finance Committee of the Whole and the 2026 budget discussion.
So we are going to begin the Finance Committee of the Whole discussion on budget. And we'll start with just some background. Administration has been working on the budget for several months. We have information to share, and certainly we'll need to have conversations regarding the way forward. But let me start out with some key budget dates to begin with. So at this time, the governor is slated to deliver his budget message on February 25th. That is subject to change, but at this time, that's the date that we've been told. 2 days later, the Department of Education is required to release state aid information to school districts. Again, that is tied to the budget message delivered by the governor, so that will also be subject to change. But those are the dates with which we are working right now. March 3rd will be a special board meeting. Originally, we had a board meeting set for March 5th, I believe, and that has been canceled to move it forward to March 3rd. The reason being that with having such a large lapse from the release of state aid until the board meeting, it was just too significant. We want to be able to get out in front and talk about what the impacts are regarding state aid as quickly as we can. The next date is March 20th. That's the date that was scheduled for the budget adoption. That was a date pursuant to law. You see parenthetically, it's noted as March 19th. The Department of Education released its schedule, and they've indicated that they've revised the date from March 20th as the final date to March 19th. So we may need to then have a revised board meeting date as a result to meet that timeline. Moving along, our public hearing is currently scheduled for April 24th. So the public hearing on the budget must be held between April 24th and May 7th. During that public hearing, it's a final opportunity to make revisions to the tentative budget. No changes can occur after that public hearing. And then subsequently, a final budget would be adopted. That's currently scheduled for May 8th. The last date to legally adopt the budget is May 14th. So let's get into the bottom line, and then we'll talk about some of the other issues. So we've got two scenarios presented here. One is on the budget with state aid remaining exactly where it is from the current year, and that would include what the state aid level was as provided to us last February, plus there was a almost $600,000 additional state aid adjustment that came after the fact. Under the next column, reduced state aid. It is the scenario where we are anticipating, or we would say that the state aid would be further reduced in an amount equal to the fiscal 2025 budget, plus the non-renewal of the additional aid. The total of those two amounts is approximately $1.9 million. So where are we today with appropriations? Now, this is not a final number. This is a work in progress, but this is pretty close to a final number at this point. Appropriations are at $205 million. Now, I note that this reflects about a $6.8 million increase from the current year's base budget, or 3.43%. Now, let's look at the revenues. Estimated revenue at this time with flat state aid is $199 million. If there's a state aid reduction, it would be $197 million. That's what it's more or less a guesstimate at this point. We have no data. And the important aspect on this was what I was talking about in terms of the dates that we're dealing with. So I want to go back just for a moment on those dates. If state aid information is not being released until late February, and then the district must adopt a budget by March 19th, it's a matter of weeks within which very significant decisions must be made. It's untenable to have to make decisions within that period of time. So we've been working on trying to make decisions, not decisions, but at least putting information together for consideration. What does this bottom line look like? The shortfall on a flat state aid scenario is almost $5.9 million. And with the reduced state aid scenario, it's $7.8 million. Neither one of these is acceptable, but that is the reality of what we have at this point in time. So what are the selected budget impacts? What is driving the budget? Well, salaries for one. Salaries make up $4.89 million increase. That's 4.6% over the current year in salaries. This number reflects literally a few positions in addition related to mandated requirements. So there's nothing extra in here. It's basically rolling forward and addressing some additional requirements to keep us compliant. Health benefits, an increase of over $2 million. That's 8%. That includes the additional health benefits that would be required for those additional positions that were budgeted. I will share also that that is not a hard number right now. After we initially did our projections with the health benefits, we were informed by our insurance broker that based on claims experience, now let me say this, we currently on just the rate have budgeted a 7% increase. It's not going to tie into that 8% because of those additional factors. But our insurance broker has advised that preliminarily we should be factoring a 10% increase. Now, that's just untenable as well. We are going to be looking at this very long and hard as we move forward. We'll be speaking with our broker to look at the claims experience, and hopefully that will improve. That number, as I said, is very soft right now because there is not a lot of claims experience on which the carrier can base its increase. So they're going to take a very conservative position. Out-of-district tuition, $640,000 increase. That's 14.4% up from the current year. And that is not the result of any growth in out-of-district placements. It is the result of rising tuitions for out-of-district placements.
Mr. Giuliano, if I could, this is actually a reduction in the number of students we have in out-of-district placements, but an increase in cost. So we do have, since last year, a reduction in that number.
And yet, the numbers are
higher,
significantly more.
Right.
And electric costs, $310,000 increase, 17.2%. Now, these are just selected impacts, but these are very significant. If you look at, we are a people business. Our primary expenditures are in salaries and benefits. And when you combine those amounts, you're looking at almost a $7 million increase just based on salary and benefits. What are some of the other factors? Well, employee health benefit deductions. So I want to talk about this for a moment. So, excuse me. So, employees contribute toward their health benefits based on what the state has set forth as requirements. Several years ago, the state implemented a new program for school districts. Now, we run our own program, but we have to mirror what the state law required. There are two programs. One is the New Jersey Educators Health Plan, and the other is the Garden State Health Plan. These two programs were supposed to result in savings to school districts. Supposed to. The reality is that they do not. The reality is, and we did some recalculations to look at what the employee contributions are based on that program versus what it would be had those programs not been required. For the current year, that cost the district in excess of $750,000. And for next year, it will cost the district in excess of $1 million. So those two, that item on its own has a substantial impact on the bottom line. And there's nothing we can do about that. That was a result of legislation that was signed by the governor several years back, and we're stuck with it. But that's a reality. Something that was supposed to save money is costing us money. Property and casualty and workers' compensation insurance rates. These are estimated in the budget. These comprise a good chunk of dollars within the budget, but we're not going to have that data probably until later February, if we're lucky to have it by then. And the reality is that property and casualty insurance in particular is rising at significant rates. This is a national problem. Insurance companies are raising their rates across the board, and we are certainly not an exception. School districts in general are not an exception. So this is yet more to be coming. Charter schools impact. We won't know the charter schools impact until state aid data is released in late February. So the charter school gets a portion of our state aid. Let's presume, and I'm going to give you a hypothetical, but even if state aid were to remain flat, but the charter school enrollments increased, that would result in more of the state aid that we would receive being diverted to the charter school. So that would have an adverse effect on the bottom line. Tax levy. This budget is currently based on maximizing the tax levy, raising the tax levy up to the full 2%, and there was a $1 million banked cap carried from the prior year that is also included. So that's a $3.9 million amount in tax levy, equating to 2.72% increase. That $3.9 million amount doesn't even cover the salary and benefit portion. So if there's no increase in state aid and even a reduction, and we maximize the amount of tax levy that we are able to increase, we still have a significant gap to bridge. Budget alternatives. Revenue. There aren't many options in revenue. Increasing club and athletic fees. We're in the process of completing an analysis to look at to see what that might look like and what that would generate, but that is not going to fill a gap such as the one that I presented just a short while ago. It's not going to come up with $5+ to $7+ million. Shift credit card fees to card holders. Currently, the district covers the cost for credit card fees for any fees that are paid via credit card. So that would be club and athletic fees, any kind of participation fees, registrations in community programs, and so forth. Shifting that over to the card holders, that equates to about $120,000. Still nowhere near what would be needed. Expense reductions. There is not one of the expense reductions on this list that is palatable. Not one. But when we're looking at the kind of shortfall that is on this at this time, it is not going to be done by cutting reams of paper out of the budget and supplies and materials in general. That's not going to happen. Increases in class sizes. I will tell you right now that the budget reflects, at least at, across the board, but in K4, class sizes are being maintained very reasonably. There's no reflection of increased class sizes in the K4 level at this time. Reducing course offerings. That's another serious option. Reducing athletic offerings, perhaps middle school sports. in particular, but everything's got to be on the table. There is absolutely no question that position reductions are unavoidable. Position reductions are unavoidable. These will be distasteful decisions that will have to be made. And a member of the public asked about this a short while ago.
That's ridiculous.
Excuse me, ma'am. Closing Bell Monroe is an option. That may not be an option for this year because there's a lot that has to go into that. There is a redistricting analysis that is being done to look at adjusting the boundaries for elementary schools, both with and without Bell Monroe. But Bell Monroe on its own may not be able to be sustained. That may not happen this year, but it will certainly be on the list for the following year, unless the revenue situation improves. And right now, the message we've gotten from the state has been, and Dr. Valesky, correct me if I'm wrong, you were the one that heard this from your county meeting, that we're to expect, and this is school districts in general, to expect pain for the next 3 to 5 years.
That's correct. Yes. And we wanted to be completely transparent with the community. Even though we're talking tonight about this, and this was actually discussed with staff at Bell Monroe tonight before the board meeting, but it is an option out there. It is a potential option. I also wanted to clarify two of the bullets that Mr. Giuliano referenced, increased class size, reduced course offerings. We're also talking about at our secondary level, when we have situations, we have extraordinarily low class sizes, and we have courses that may not have a lot of interest. So we're looking at making sure that we're maximizing our student experience, but also economizing on the staff that we need to run those courses.
So we have been in meetings with our entire administrative organization, solicited input from the administrators to go back and look at their areas to see what might be done. We closed the first round of that information gathering just yesterday, and we'll be analyzing that information and presenting that information to the board so that the board can have some intelligent discussions. I reiterate, none of this will be tasteful. It is not a good situation. And the fact that we won't know anything about state aid until February, the end of February, leaves us basically on tenterhooks for the next month, waiting for information that we just cannot have now. There's no way to project what the state aid formula will do. Because while there is a formula, and we've replicated the formula, there are aspects of the state aid formula that are simple plug factors. What the state does is it determines how much can the state afford to set aside for funding for school districts, and then it backs into the number through the formula. There's no way to tell what that's going to be. So that concludes this initial presentation. I recognize the emotion that this brings. Absolutely do. This will be some hard work to be done moving forward.
And Mr. Giuliano, just to clarify so the public knows, our intent here is to be transparent, to show every meeting when we present this again, we're going to show the work that we're doing along the way to close that gap at each successive meeting, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
See if there's discussion from the board.
Discussion?
Yeah, to put it bluntly, this is not a great situation. Having said that, I know parents in town, the residents in town are going to be very concerned about how our school district comes out of this, and there's not a whole lot of time. What can the residents of our town do in the meantime that will help with our situation?
Mr. Pan, I suggest they reach out to our legislative bodies and talk to our elected officials. President Guas and I had a conversation with Assemblyman Stanley yesterday. So we have not heard from the Department of Education anything at all about what the formula is going to look like this year. And I'll restate what I said. I had a conversation with Commissioner Deemer last June. I had a face-to-face with him, asked if they were going to look at the school funding formula. He told me that at that point in time, the formula was working for most of the state. They were looking at most to smooth out the formula to give us more predictability, but no hope that we were going to get additional funding this year or any subsequent year. We've made the case to legislators that the impact that we suffered last year, we can't go through that again. And looking forward to next year, how do we do that? And we will solve this problem this year. But looking forward to next year, it just becomes a cascade. And then where do you then have substantial modifications to your program that you can't maintain what you took decades to build?
Dr. Valesky, is it possible to get the public some of these names of legislators that they can reach out to?
Absolutely.
Because I think it's important, and what you're saying is at least the grassroots start of change. You know, we have to let our legislators know that this is not acceptable. It's just not acceptable. And I think it does start with our letters and our comments and our voting, and then we can go from there. But if we can do that, I think that might be helpful to our people in town.
We'll
Thank
work
you.
on that, and we'll actually create a section on the website where the public can go and get that information.
Thank you. Mr. Hall?
Yes. So next Thursday, Middlesex County School Bar Association invited Senator Van Gappel. He's the senator chairperson for Senator Education Committee. So I invite all board members to be there, ask him the question, because he's the person who makes the big decisions. So next Thursday, there will be virtual, and I will send out the link to you guys. So I invite every board member to be there and ask tough questions. I personally spoke with him last year 3 times. So, and I can anticipate his answer to you guys. But the more voice, the louder voice, and the bigger impact we will have. So next Thursday, I will circulate the Zoom meeting, but I'm sorry, it's limited to board members, not for public.
But, excuse me, but Mr. Hung, after that meeting, we can come back and we can talk about it to the public to kind of give them an idea of what we heard, right?
Well, I don't know what kind of answer he's going to,
Well,
to
even if
tell
it's-
us. And I believe, his talk will be very generous, based on my own experience dealing with him, and just very generous. He did not give any promise for his position, but we invited him, we tried very hard. He promised he will show up next Thursday.
Well, I think it'd be important for us to be able to give the public some indication of where that meeting might have went in the next few meetings, if possible. Whether it's hopeful or not, I think it's important for them.
Yeah, well, you can give during the committee report, that section, yeah.
Anyone else? Ms. Hart?
So a few weeks ago at our board meeting, I had talked about how there were the opportunity to testify for school funding reform, and from people that I know that had gone to some of the other ones, because there was 4. There was also the opportunity to present your concerns in writing. I think they closed that period, so I don't think that's possible anymore. But I just wanted to say that there were many districts and many people there from other districts that are suffering the same. There was a lot of concerns about the timeline, the budget, how quickly we then have to turn over and have a public hearing and then try to revision it within the timeline. and different conversations about what has been cut in their school districts. And I tell you, it was an absolutely emotional experience to hear how districts have cut out busing, they've cut out extracurricular activities, they've increased their funds. Some schools said they didn't have JV sports anymore. It was varsity and that was it. They were telling parents that basically their young children would have to cross 4-lane highways because they could no longer courtesy bus them. So the situation across the state is dire. And I also say reach out to elected people, talk to other people that you know, encourage them to get involved and to ask our legislators or the Department of Education to meet or take more funding, information, testimony, but also say that when that was closed, we're now looking at not even a month before we're going to get the budget numbers. So how much work can we expect them to do in that time? Probably not a lot. So I don't think that we'll see changes, and I don't know if anything different was communicated to any of you about actual changes this year, but I would think that would be more long-term than short-term.
Mr. Gomez?
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. This is painful on every level. It feels like deja vu, right? The tenor and the content of your presentation is almost the exact same as last year. We're up against it again, and I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just awful, and we feel your pain. All right, sorry. Fair enough, ma'am. Excuse me. All right, we'll talk to you.
Ma'am,
I can
please.
talk after. I'm sorry. So I don't know what to say other than, I don't know what to say. I mean something. I'm scared out of my mind for being in this same position again next year.
So
At this time.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm almost done. I don't know what you do in moments of this nature other than be bold, based on data, over communicate, be transparent, and try to pull through it together as a community. I was just curious and was doing pulling some numbers earlier, right? And these are rough numbers that I pulled off of just a quick search. But if we're currently a $198 million operating budget, roughly, again, nothing perfect, 8,300 students roughly in this district. So the average cost per student in this district, just dividing the numbers, is around $23,855 per student to come all in, right? That's the average cost of a student in this district, $23,855. What about our neighbors? So North Brunswick, again, Google search, all of this, 5,822 students, $167 million operating budget. Their average cost per student is $28,684, almost $5,000 more than us. Edison, 16,800 students, $367 million budget. Their average cost is $21,836 per student. That's $2,000 less than us. South Brunswick, 7,950 students, $175 million operating budget. Their average cost is $22,000 per student. I mean, we're sort of right in that area, right? Which is compelling. I don't know what to say. I'm like everybody else here, and I'm not trying to speak for everybody. That's not my goal, but it's awful. We need to move swiftly. We need to be bold, because if we don't, then the pain is just going to continue to trickle through the community. And I hope that we can get to a better place by making some very difficult decisions.
Tim, I think that's a great point you made in terms of what our operating costs really look like compared to the surrounding neighborhoods. I also just want to mention that South Brunswick number, assuming you pulled a recent one, South Brunswick has gone through this process for about 5 years now, if I remember correctly. So their previous operating budget was probably higher than what we're looking at right today. Something to consider.
Bernie?
So, absolutely. completely agree with what you have been saying, what everyone has been saying. I think one of the things that we've talked about, and we've said this even at other presentations over the last several years regarding the state formula, there's an aspect of the formula that's called adequacy, where the state is measuring district to district in terms of what they call adequacy. And I've always felt that for a district like East Brunswick, I'm going to call it being punished for having a very good school district, having state aid reductions, and pushing the district into adequacy, because we are above adequacy. Adequacy, to me, feels like it's mediocrity. And the formula is not addressing what needs to be done. It is just putting a square peg in a round hole. So that's a change that has to happen at the state level. There's nothing that we can do about it here alone, other than try and get the people in Trenton to really listen and make changes.
So we do have some things working on between now and the next meeting that we intend to be able to present that picture again and show progress towards closing that gap. But I'm only reminded, as Mr. Giuliano spoke, of back in 2010 during the Christie administration, when school funding was slashed throughout the state. And, in the decade that has been since, East Brunswick has been able to restore some of that funding, but never completely all of the funding that was lost under that initiative. So we kind of enter in deficit position before we started with this implementation, the full implementation of the school funding formula, which complicates the problem a little bit more. It just progresses year after year. So we're going to continue to work on it.
Anyone else? All right. I did want to add my own thought, which was that last year, a lot of the initial hard discussions, these lists, were done in very painful meetings that weren't shared with the public as early on, in an effort to not create such upset, such feelings of fear about what would happen or what would happen in our neighborhood schools or to people that we treasure. And this year, with an effort to just have more transparency right from the beginning about where we are and what it looks like and what the possibilities are, we're trying to share with the public right from the beginning. This is what we're looking at right now. And as things change, the administrative team will let us all know how it changes. And we hope it changes for the better, but we need to prepare for it to change for the worse. Yes.
I just wanted to thank all the parents who come week after week to speak. I know how terrifying it can be for public speaking. And so just to let you know how much I appreciate hearing from each and every one of you, because I don't know how else I would know these things, unless you come up and you tell us. And I also want to thank those of you who sent emails, because we get copied on emails. And I don't think we're not allowed to answer. Like me, Anna, can't just reply back to you and go, hey, thanks for your email. It doesn't work like that. It has to come from, the administration. But I just want to let the parents and the people of the community know. I mean, I read each one of those emails, and I wish I could do more than just read. All I can do is follow up and say, hey, what are we going to do about this? But I just want to let you know how much I genuinely appreciate all of you. And I know it's going to be very difficult in the weeks to come. And we want to hear from you, because you're the ones that are closest to what's going on. And so we do want to hear from you. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, moving on to board member reports on committees and/or information items. I just wanted to start with a few things. I feel like I was all over the place in the past 2 weeks. I was at the memorial cake decorating, and I have to thank the PTA for an exciting event. My little one was thrilled, and she was very happy to represent for school spirit. Did attend the high school PTSA meeting with the police officers about driver safety and safety awareness. I do believe the PTSA recorded the Zoom element and was planning on sharing it, so look for that. And I wanted to congratulate our ice hockey team on their senior night. It was a pleasure to be there. It was an absolute nail-biter. They beat a very enthusiastic South Brunswick. It was a great win, and I was both happy and sad to be there because I was watching some of our inaugural members be in their senior night and getting ready to graduate. Is there anyone else? Go ahead.
So I don't want to speak for Dr. Falco, but Jamie and I spent the last weekend at the New Jersey School Board Association orientation for new school board members. It was a terrific event. Learned a lot about the role. More importantly, got to talk to a lot of new school board members from all over the state, and it was an invaluable experience. So, yeah.
Excellent. Go ahead.
I had the pleasure of attending my first Human Relations Council meeting. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to serve our diverse community and be a part of all the wonderful opportunities. This upcoming Saturday will be a Muslim cultural event at the high school, not at the high school, at the library, 11 to 4. So if anyone's able to swing by, it'll be great. Thank you.
Mr. Owen?
So next week, there will be a parent university in Hampshire. So, education children, Board of Education is partnering with all parents. Parents play very important roles in education, in educating our children. So I strongly urge all parents, try your best to attend every parents' university meeting. So last month, there was one is supporting literacy development at home. The program, I was there, the program was very good. Unfortunately, less than 10 parents showed up. I believe the faculties at the Hampshire building, they prepared very good. They put a lot of effort there. They prepared beautiful handouts, but very unfortunate, not too many parents showed up. For me, I sit in there, I listen to lectures, the presentations. It's very, very helpful for me and for my wife. So I urge parents, take advantage of this parents' university. The school district is trying everything to help our children, but we need your help, parents, so please show up. And last weekend, East Brunswick celebrated Chinese New Year as a Chinese New Year's Chinese community member. I'm proud of this diversity community. Everyone, we're like a big family, with one East Brunswick and one family. We respect and accept each other, so I'm proud of it. I think the township organized the celebration, and I believe so many people showing up there were very happy, enjoy the food and the program. So thank you, the township.
Happy year this week.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Oh, one more, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
So I want to thank Ms. Juliana for his effort. He provided the board member training to help board members to understand the finance, the school finance. There are so many things happening when for this inside the financial department. Hundreds maybe of accounts need to be managed. So his training helped board members to understand the school finance. So I want to thank you very much. I tried to attend that meeting, but I didn't have the opportunity. But I thank the board members. You guys attend. They will help you understand and the finance report, and then They will help you ask good questions, and they will help Ms. Juliana to communicate with us. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. Excuse me while I turn all the way back. All right, we have a need for a second closed session. Whereas the Board of Education must discuss matters which are not appropriate for discussion in a public meeting, and whereas these subjects are within the exceptions to the Open Public Meetings Act and are permitted to be discussed in closed session pursuant to NJSA 10-4-12B, and whereas the Board of Education intends to discuss matters as follows, the items listed on the agenda. Whereas this length is
Estimated to be 1 hour?
estimated to be 1 hour, after which action will be taken?
Yes.
Yes,
And
okay.
also, if I may make a note, any items that were not completed during the last closed session will also be discussed.
Thank you. Can I have a motion? Mr. Pan, Mr. Hong, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? All right, we are in closed. Thank you. Okay, we are.
Yep.
Okay, I need a motion that the Board of Education affirms the district's determination regarding HIB case, these are the same? Yeah, okay. CH 2425 .002 and HUES 2425.002.
So moved.
So, Ms. Herrick, second?
Second.
Mr. Cummings? All right, discussion? No.
No,
No
we'll
discussion.
just go right to the vote.
Okay. Is a roll call?
We can do a roll call.
Okay.
Okay. Anna Braun,
I am recusing myself from voting.
Timothy Cummings,
Yes.
Jamie Falco,
I recuse myself from this vote.
Louis Figueroa,
I recuse myself from this one.
Lori Herrick,
Yes.
Lee Woo Hong,
Yes.
Wilbur Pan,
Yes.
Heather Gloss.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. And
And
we
now it's
need a
adjourn.
motion to adjourn. Mr. Pan?
Second.
And second. Falco? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Excellent, we are adjourned.